Hey gang, hope you're all okay. Hopefully, I'm in the right group. Um, what have you all been up to? Hasn't the weather been absolutely glorious? We have had sunshine, we've had flowers popping out all over the places. There's leaves all coming on the trees and flowers and blossom and oh, it's just glorious. And it just makes me so happy when we can finally start opening the windows. The days are getting longer, the evenings are about to get even longer when the clocks change. I love this time of year. It's so good. It's so happy for us. But what we also have to remember sometimes is when we have anxious dogs, it can be tempting to suddenly start going out and doing loads of stuff with them. And that's not always the best thing to do. So I was going to quickly have a chat with you guys about walks because I was reminded today about a misconception about walks. And years ago, people used to say a tired dog was a good dog. Okay. These days, we know that a tired dog isn't necessarily a good dog. A tired dog is a tired dog. That tired dog will still have anxiety. That tired dog will still have all their other problems. They're just too exhausted to show them. And the trouble with creating that dog is eventually that dog's going to get fitter and fitter and fitter. And then you're going to have an anxious dog who's very fit. Okay, which is exactly what you don't want. All right. So, and they're going to have lots of energy to burn off. They're going to be even more anxious than they normally are. And also, some dogs, when they have behavioral struggles, they're in pain, and over exercising them can actually trigger that pain even more. It can make a lot of problems worse. So, what we don't want to do is necessarily keep walking and walking and walking and walking and giving exercise after exercise after exercise for all of our dogs. Because that's, if they're having a bit of a problem with anxiety, with any sort of pain, with any sort of behavior, it's not necessarily going to make it better just to keep them exhausted all the time. Okay. Just like it was with us, if we had a pain or if we weren't feeling very well or weren't very happy, going for a 10-mile jog every day is not necessarily going to help us feel better. I mean, it might do if we choose to go jogging and we enjoy it, but at the same time, if we're being forced to do it, it probably wouldn't help. Okay, so I just want you guys to bear in mind that it's not necessarily the answer. You see, while our dogs do need physical and mental exercise every day, it doesn't have to be in the form of a walk. So if you think of a walk as a bit like us going to work, there's a lot of stuff going on. It can be quite stressful, it can be quite hard work, it can be quite easy, it can be very relaxing, it can be, it can be a lot of things. But at the end of it, it's not just chilling around watching the TV and being calm, is it? So if we think of the walk as a bit like us going to work, if we go to work Monday to Friday, it doesn't matter how much we love our job, we need Saturday and Sunday off so that we can be ready on Monday morning feeling at our best again. We need that little break in order to calm down, to, relieve some of the stresses of the week, to get our brains back in the right places. And our dogs need that break as well from their walks sometimes, which is another reason why adding more and more and more and more walks to their routine isn't necessarily the way to go when it comes to dealing with anxious problems and with behavioral problems. Sometimes they need the equivalent of a weekend off. So if your dog is actually getting worse rather than better when you're walking them, the chances are that they are starting to, I mean, behavior wise, the chances are they're actually starting to get fitter, but the behavior problems are still there. So what I want you to try doing, as much as it seems counterintuitive, is to have a few days off every so often. Maybe walk 4 or 5 days a week instead of all seven. Yeah. And maybe walk at different times. So when it's a little bit quieter or a little bit later in the evening, or, so the walk itself isn't quite as stressful. Maybe don't go as far. You don't necessarily have to walk every day. And people, they balk when I tell them this, but it's, when you think of it in terms of us going to work all week and then needing the weekend off, it makes perfect sense. Right. So that was what I was going to have a quick chat with you guys about this week. Another thing I was going to chat with you guys about is I have now set the school up in the new website. Okay. And I have sent everybody in the club an email, or several emails actually. And I don't know who's getting them and who isn't, because some of them might have gone into spam folders. But I need you to go and register on using the link in the email that I sent you to go and be able to access the courses and things in the new school. Okay, so if you guys can do that, that would be absolutely amazing. If you're not quite sure how to, please do grab hold of me and I will talk you through it. All right. But anyway, so yeah, I want you to experiment with your walks. I want you to experiment with not necessarily walking every day, not necessarily going for heavy intensive exercise every day. Go for more sniffy walks, more quiet walks, miss out some walks completely. Do some, enrichment at home, play in the back garden, do things that are not necessarily going to be stressing your dog out all the time. All right. Anyway, I shall catch you all later, guys. See you soon. Bye bye.